What happens when a kid born into wrestling royalty refuses to live in anyone's shadow and instead becomes one of the most dangerous, wealthy, and iconic superstars in WWE history? This is not just Randy Orton's lifestyle. This is the story of power, pain, money, and dominance. From sold-out arenas to private mansions, from championship gold to quiet luxury, Randy Orton's life in 2026 is everything fans dream about, and more than critics ever expected. But the road here, it was brutal. Randy Orton was born into wrestling blood, a third-generation wrestler, a legacy name. For most people, that would be an advantage. For Randy Orton, it was pressure from day one, because when your father and grandfather are legends, you don't get chances, you get expectations. Before fame, before money, before luxury, there is rebellion. A young Randy Orton struggled with discipline. He faced personal mistakes, he faced criticism, and he faced his own demons. Many believed he would waste his talent, but destiny had other plans. When Randy Orton entered WWE, he didn't arrive quietly. He arrived like a storm, cold eyes, calculated movement, and a presence that felt dangerous. The ring wasn't just his workplace, it was his territory. Championships followed, money followed, fame followed, but Randy Orton never became flashy like others. Instead of showing off, he built quietly. Instead of chasing attention, he chased control, and by 2026, Randy Orton's lifestyle reflects absolute dominance. Let's talk about where a predator rests. Randy Orton owns multiple luxury properties. His primary mansion is designed for privacy, security, and comfort. Massive land, gated surroundings, custom interiors. This is not a celebrity show house. This is a fortress. Inside his mansion, high ceilings, private gym, personal spa, custom built entertainment rooms. Everything tailored for recovery, strength, and silence. Because Randy Orton doesn't recharge in public, he recharges in isolation. But real luxury isn't just about space, it's about freedom. Freedom from noise, freedom from judgment, freedom from pressure. That's why Randy Orton chose a lifestyle far from Hollywood chaos. And then comes the machines, because a man like Randy Orton doesn't drive average. High-performance muscle cars, luxury SUVs, custom motorcycles. His collection reflects his personality. Raw power, aggression, control. Every engine growl feels intentional. But Randy Orton's wealth didn't come easy. Years of injuries, surgeries, pain that fans never see. While crowds cheered, his body paid the price. And yet, he never walked away. Because Randy Orton isn't built to quit, he's built to endure. By 2026, his net worth reflects decades of dominance. Multiple world championships, merchandise royalties, WWE contracts, brand appearances. Randy Orton is no longer just a wrestler. He is a living asset. But here's the part fans rarely talk about. What does Randy Orton's daily life actually look like? When the cameras stop rolling? How does a predator live when he's not hunting in the ring? In the next part, we step deeper inside Randy Orton's private world. His routines, mindset, family life, and the quiet habits that built his empire. Because the most dangerous thing about Randy Orton is not what you see when the arena lights shut down and the crowd noise fades into silence. Randy Orton's real life begins. Not as the Viper, not as a WWE icon, but as a man who has learned how to survive pressure, longer than almost anyone else in professional wrestling. Randy Orton's mornings don't start with chaos. They start with control. Early hours, no distractions, no wasted energy. His day begins with discipline, stretching, mobility work, and mental preparation. Because after decades in the ring, his body is not just muscle, it's history. Every injury Randy Orton has suffered still whispers to him every morning. The shoulders, the back, the knees. Pain didn't disappear when success arrived. It followed him, and that's why recovery is sacred in his lifestyle. Inside his private gym, Randy Orton trains differently now. Not to impress, not to show off, but to last. Controlled lifts, precision movement, smart conditioning. Because longevity is the new victory. Then comes silence. No phone, no social media noise, no unnecessary voices. Randy Orton values quiet more than applause. That's the difference between short-term stars and long-term legends. Family plays a massive role in his lifestyle today. Away from cameras, Randy Orton is deeply protective of his personal life. He chooses privacy over publicity. Home is not a content studio. It's a sanctuary. He spends time being present, not distracted by fame. Family dinners, conversations without filters, moments that never make headlines. Because after years of living on the road, stability became his real luxury. Randy Orton has seen what fame can destroy. Careers, relationships, mental health. That's why he built strict boundaries. He doesn't chase the spotlight. He controls when it reaches him. Even his social appearances are calculated. Selective interviews. Limited public exposure. Zero desperation. Randy Orton doesn't need to prove relevance. His legacy already speaks. But don't mistake calm for softness. Inside that quiet lifestyle is a competitor who never stopped analyzing, watching the industry evolve, watching younger stars rise, watching the business change. He understands the game better than ever. Because Randy Orton knows something crucial. The moment you stop adapting, you disappear. So he studies, not just wrestling, but contracts, branding, timing, and influence. By 2026, Randy Orton's mindset is sharper than ever. Less emotion, more strategy, less noise, more precision. This is not the reckless young star from the past. This is a calculated veteran who knows exactly when to strike. And yet, despite all the control, there is one thing that still drives him. The hunger to remain dangerous. Not loud, not flashy, but unforgettable. In the next part, we break down Randy Orton's wealth in detail. His net worth, WWE earnings, merchandise, investments, and how decades of dominance turned into financial power. Because Randy Orton didn't just build a legacy in the ring, he built an empire outside of it. In professional wrestling, fame is common. Wealth that lasts? That's rare. And Randy Orton understood this difference, long before most of his peers. For decades, Randy Orton wasn't just performing in the ring. He was earning. And more importantly, he was protecting what he earned. By 2026, Randy Orton's estimated net worth stands between $15 and $20 million. Not built overnight. Not built recklessly, built slowly, built smartly. His primary source of income remains WWE, multi-year contracts, main event pay, appearance bonuses. Every time Randy Orton steps into the ring, he brings decades of credibility with him. And credibility is expensive. But the real money doesn't stop with matches. Merchandise royalties continue to flow. T-shirts, action figures, video game appearances. The Rurko isn't just a move, it's a global brand. Randy Orton also benefits from licensing deals. WWE Network content, streaming platforms, classic match replays. Every generation of fans discovers him again. And every discovery creates income. Unlike many athletes, Randy Orton didn't gamble with flashy business ventures, no risky startups, no headline-grabbing failures. Instead, he invested in stability. Real estate became a major pillar of his wealth. Large properties, private land, long-term value. Not quick flips, long holds. Because Randy Orton doesn't chase trends, he waits them out. Then there's brand alignment. Randy Orton is selective. He doesn't attach his name to everything. He only works with brands that fit his image. Strong, serious, controlled. That selectivity increases value. But here's what truly separates him. Randy Orton learned from the mistakes of others. He watched legends lose fortunes. He saw athletes burn through millions. And he made a decision early. That won't be me. So he built financial discipline. The same way he built his career. Consistency. Patience, long-term thinking. That mindset allowed him to survive injuries, time away, and industry changes without panic. Even when not actively wrestling, his income doesn't stop. Royalties, appearances, residuals. Money works for him now. By 2026, Randy Orton no longer needs to prove anything financially. He wrestles because he wants to, not because he has to. That freedom is the ultimate luxury. But wealth comes with its own challenges. Public expectations, contract negotiations, industry politics. Money doesn't eliminate pressure. It changes its shape. And there's one thing Randy Orton understands clearly. In wrestling, relevance is currency. Lose relevance, and everything fades. So the question becomes, how does a man protect his body, his wealth, and his legacy at the same time? How does Randy Orton travel, recover, and stay dominant? After decades of physical warfare, in the next part, we step into the skies. Inside private jets, luxury travel, injuries, setbacks, and the physical price of staying elite. Because the cost of greatness is never paid only in money. When you've spent your life on the road, true luxury isn't gold or diamonds. It's comfort, it's control, it's choosing how you move through the world. By 2026, Randy Orton no longer travels like a rookie chasing bookings. Commercial airports, crowded terminals, endless delays. Those days are behind him. Now, his travel reflects his status. Private jets. Not for flexing, not for headlines, but for survival. Custom seating to protect his back. Controlled schedules. Privacy from noise and stress. Because after decades of punishment, even travel must be strategic. Flying above the clouds gives Randy Orton something rare. Silence. Time to think. think, time to recover, time to plan. In the air, there are no crowds chanting his name, only reflection, because below that calm surface is a body that has been through war, shoulder surgeries, back issues, joint damage. Every ARCO ever delivered came with a price. There were moments when doctors questioned his future, moments when retirement felt closer than another comeback, moments when painkillers became routine, moments when quitting would have been easier. But Randy Orton has never been built for easy decisions. While others faded quietly, he chose rehabilitation, physical therapy, endless repetition, pain without applause. Because comebacks aren't glamorous, they're lonely. Every return to the ring required trust. Trust in his body. Trust in timing. Trust that he still belonged. And each time he stepped back between the ropes, the risk was real. One wrong landing, one mistimed move, and everything could end. That's the truth fans rarely see. Wrestling isn't scripted pain. Pain is real. Travel only amplifies the challenge. Different time zones, different climates, different recovery needs. So Randy Orton built a lifestyle that revolves around protection, massage therapy, cryotherapy, specialized medical teams. Luxury, yes, but luxury with purpose. Even his schedule is selective now. No unnecessary matches, no reckless spots, no ego-driven risks, because longevity is the new championship. But injuries don't just test the body, they test the mind. Doubt creeps in during quiet hotel nights. What if this is the last run? What if the body says no? These thoughts don't care about fame, yet every time fear appears, Randy Orton meets it head on, because fear has followed him his entire career, and it never stopped him before. Still, the question remains, how long can a predator stay dangerous? In a business that consumes its own? How does Randy Orton balance risk, health, wealth, and relevance in the final chapters of his career? The answer lies in what comes next. In the final part, we explore Randy Orton's legacy, influence, future plans, and the truth about what he wants his name to mean, long after the last bell rings. Because legends don't just retire, they decide how they're remembered. Every legend eventually reaches a moment when championships stop being the goal and legacy becomes the mission. For Randy Orton, that moment has already arrived. Decades inside the ring have given him everything a wrestler could ever dream of. Fame, fortune, respect. But the one thing that matters most to him now is meaning. Away from the spotlight, Randy Orton's life is grounded in family. Not cameras, not applause, but real moments. Quiet mornings, private conversations. A life built on stability instead of chaos. Because after years of living on the road, home became sacred. He has seen how the wrestling industry treats its legends. Some burn out, some disappear, some are remembered only by highlights. Randy Orton refuses that fate. By 2026, he is no longer chasing every opportunity. He chooses his moments, selective appearances, carefully planned storylines, respect for his body. Because power now comes from restraint. Mentorship has quietly become part of his legacy, guiding younger talent, sharing knowledge earned through pain, protecting the future of the business, not publicly, not loudly, but effectively. Randy Orton understands something rare. Your final years define your entire story. So he moves with purpose. The question of retirement still lingers. He doesn't announce timelines. He doesn't seek farewell tours, because when the time comes, he wants it to feel right. Until then, he remains dangerous. Not because of brute force, but because of experience. Because the most dangerous competitor is the one who knows exactly when to strike. Randy Orton's lifestyle in 2026 is not about excess. It's about control. Control of health, control of wealth, control of legacy. From luxury mansions to private jets, from championships to scars. Every chapter shaped the man he is today. Randy Orton isn't just a WWE superstar. He is a survivor of an unforgiving industry, a master of longevity, and a legend who decided how his story would be told. Because in wrestling, not everyone gets to choose their ending, but Randy Orton did. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Randy Orton's legendary lifestyle, subscribe to Life of Legends for more exclusive stories about fame, wealth, struggles, and power. Because legends aren't born, they're built.